Hello, welcome to my 2-week course. Over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be teaching you guys about biologically intensive food raising. From the principles that make this method of food production what it is, to the everyday steps you have to take in the garden, and then all the way back up to planning a 20-bed unit of 100 square foot beds to grow a basic diet for yourself or for your family in 2,000 square feet per person. And how inside of that space you can not only grow a diet for yourself, balancing the nutrients of calories, protein, and calcium, but you can also grow a diet for your soil. You'll be balancing compost crops in a 45-to-1 ratio of carbon to nitrogen. That means that you'll be growing the crops necessary to build cured compost at the rates that you'll need to amend your soil to maintain sustainable soil fertility for generations to come. And then you're going to take this diet design and you're going to put it into a 52-week planner. So every week out of the year, you're going to plan everything that you need to do for your garden, for your mini farm. But I want to encourage each of you to not be afraid to make mistakes, not be afraid to fail a little, because as a farmer, that's how you really learn. And what's important is that you stay observant through the process of mistakes or of failing. You have to be aware of what's going on and you have to learn from it. You're gonna have to adapt. We're all gonna have to adapt. What I wanna do in this course is give you some tools so that you can adapt in a way that's sustainable for yourself and for those around you. I'm talking equity for all species, not just humans, okay? One of the main goals of Biointensive is to build up the soil organic matter inside of your mini farm. We design our diet not just for ourselves, but we design our diet for our soil. So we ensure that we're going to be producing enough biomass in the right ratios of carbon to nitrogen to build compost with a high level of carbon compared to nitrogen, which is different from many composting practices. And the reason we do this is because it creates a cooler compost environment. So you know when you have a bonfire and you put a bunch of wood on it and it kind of flames up and it burns away a lot of that material really quickly? Well, inside of a warm or a hot compost pile, it's kind of like that. And when that happens, when it heats up to maybe 180 degrees Fahrenheit, a lot of the minerals, including the carbon, that were used to build that compost pile, that initially were in the soil and in the atmosphere, they actually evaporate and go back into the atmosphere. Whereas if you do cool or cold composting, the compost still heats up, but it doesn't heat up as hot and it doesn't heat up for as long. And you actually end up with a lot more mass of cured compost by the end. So that means more minerals and more carbon you're putting into your soil. And it also just so happens that in these cooler environments, it is conducive to the kinds of microorganisms that are responsible for humus formation. So not only are you going to learn how to grow a basic diet with all your calories, all your protein, and all your calcium for yourself, you're also going to learn how to, in 2,000 square feet, do your part of carbon sequestration. So it's really an all-inclusive method of farming. If you practice this method and all of its principles in its entirety, you can pass down soil fertility to your grandkids, and they can pass it down to their grandkids, who can pass it down to their grandkids. So this is reversing the cycle of soil degradation that has been such a common theme inside of our industrialized society, or what we call a civilized society that's actually killing the earth. These biologically intensive food raising practices that I'm going to be teaching you have been used for thousands of years all around the globe. We're focused on learning about these organisms that support life, learning what they need to grow and to flourish, and supporting them. That's what it's all about. It's not about growing food. It is about growing food, but it's about growing soil. And it's not just about growing soil, it's about growing people, it's about growing community, it's about making the areas that we live in a home. So that's what we're gonna be doing here in this 2-week course, and I think we're gonna have a little fun doing it too. So go ahead and check it out for yourself and and I hope to see you along the way.